He wasn't angry. Not really. Just a bit disgruntled. It had been 3 days since Yahaba pulled the I got hurt prank on him. Kyotani had to admit Yahaba got him good. He really was worried for a while. He was also glad his boyfriend decided on quite a mild prank. He wasn't sure how he would react if Yahaba pretended he got beat up or that he was severely wounded. Still, the thought that he was panicking for nothing left a bit sour aftertaste in his mouth. Maybe it was because it seemed like Yahaba needed to make sure he cared about him by doing pranks like this. Either way, they kind of pretended that the prank didn't actually happen and went on with their regular life. All Kyotani hoped for was that Yahaba wouldn't get into more challenges or pranks. But just in case, he was now scrolling on his phone, looking up potential pranks and challenges to be prepared for the next one. It never hurts to be prepared, right? His mental list of potential pranks kept getting longer with every passing minute, and he couldn't but wonder how people came up with so many ideas. It seems like people are really bored these days. I guess this one is really mild compared to some others. His mind took him back to Yahaba and the fact he still wasn't home. He glanced at the clock and frowned. He said 6. Yahaba wasn't the type to run late and not let anyone know. Even in high school, he texted someone when he was running just a minute late. The fact he had over a 1 hour delay was concerning, to say the least. He's sleeping on the couch if he's doing another challenge. Still, he reached for his phone to call his boyfriend, in case something happened. The last thing he wanted was to bitch about something that wasn't even Yahaba's fault. But before he could even find Yahaba's contact, his phone rang on its own. I call telepathy. On call. Didn't you say you'll be home at 6? It's almost 8. Hey darling, how are you doing? Kyotani paused. Yahaba usually sounded pretty cheerful when they spoke on the phone, but something about how he sounded right now was off. Shigeru? Yeah, I'm just calling in case you forgot. Forgot what? I'm quite close, actually. Are you drunk or something? What are you talking about? No, I have that gift. You were supposed to bring the cake, remember? Shigeru, is this another challenge? Because if it is, I swear to God. Yahaba's voice suddenly changed. There was no cheerfulness in it anymore. Just plea. No, you have to come. He'll be worried if you don't. And then the realization hit Kyotani like a truck. Shige, is someone following you? Yeah, you have to come. It's his birthday. There can just be 3 of us. Kyotani's heart stopped. Where are you? Do you see the street signs? About 5 minutes. I'm on that crossroad near the old factory. Kyotani quickly searched his memory for the exact road from Yahaba's workplace to their house and sprinted out of the door, not even bothering to look. Yahaba POV. It didn't take him long to notice them. 2 men he spotted when he walked around the convenience store. They were definitely drinking, and definitely following him with less than friendly intentions. Whether they just wanted to rob him or something worse, he didn't know, and he wasn't going to wait to find out. He inwardly cursed his co-worker who held him back at work. He could have been home already, watching some stupid comedy while huddled on Kyotani's lap with a bowl of popcorn in his hands. Instead, he was in the dark all alone, followed and scared out of his mind. He fumbled with his phone, missing the correct button several times before he finally found Kyotani's number. He just hoped the two wouldn't do anything while he was on the phone. He let out a small relieved breath when Kyotani picked up. Didn't you say you'll be home at 6? It's almost 8. Hey darling, how are you doing? He cringed at his happy tone, but it seemed the man behind him hesitated for a second. Are you drunk or something? What are you talking about? Damn it. Come on, think. No, I have that gift. You were supposed to bring the cake, remember? Shigeru, is this another challenge? Shit. Shit, no, don't think that, please. I need your help. He quickly glanced over his shoulder and his heart stopped, seeing the two even closer than before. Because if it is, I swear to God. Just... No, you have to come. He'll be worried if you don't. He didn't care if he didn't sound like a normal call anymore. His wits were coming to an end with the man only about 5 meters behind his back. There was a short pause on the other end. Yahaba desperately tried to think of something, anything, to say that would get the message across when Kyotani spoke again. Is someone following you? He almost started crying with relief. Yeah, you have to come. It's his birthday. There can just be 3 of us. He prayed Kyotani would understand what he meant by that. Please come for me. Please, I'm scared. Where are you? Do you see the street signs? He glanced around, looking for any point that would help Kyotani find out where he was. There was no sign in sight, but he remembered he was soon going to walk around an old abandoned factory. If he got that far. About 5 minutes. I'm on that crossroad near the old factory. He suppressed a small whimper threatening to come out of his throat when he heard the door being shut in the phone. Stay on the phone, okay? I'm coming to you. Can you get somewhere with more people? He looked around and picked up the pace. I don't think so. He's not that stupid. Alright, keep talking. I'm coming to you, okay? Yahaba nodded, even though he knew Kyotani couldn't see him. His heart hammered in his chest, and he had trouble holding the phone still, but he couldn't afford to slow down. Hey! Yahaba startled. He resisted the urge to look over his shoulder and sped up. Shigeru? Don't rush me. I'm almost there. Don't stop. Hey, I'm talking to you. Yahaba bit his lip to suppress the desperate sounds making their way out of his mouth. He could feel the irony taste of blood on his tongue, but he couldn't care less. He just had to get away, as far from those two as possible. Away from danger. A heavy hand fell on his shoulder and threw him to the side into some side alley. His terrified yelp was cut short when he hissed in pain as his shoulder hit the brick wall. Shige! Help me! The same hand pushed him to the wall and covered his mouth, muffling the further cries into quiet whimpering. The other man gripped his wrist and pried the phone out of his hand, ending the call. I was talking to... Yahaba's stomach rolled at the smell of cheap alcohol from the man's breath. His whole body trembled, his breathing becoming ragged and shallow. His mind was racing, supplying him with horrifying images, one worse than the other. Please, Ken, hurry up. Please. The man holding him leaned closer, pushing him harder against the bricks. It's not safe for such a pretty boy like you to walk around here this late. Yeah, something bad could happen to you. They both snickered, and Yahaba whined quietly, his blood running cold seeing the hungry glint in their eyes. He kicked himself off the wall, surprising the man for a second, enough to get out of his grasp. He didn't even make 2 steps, however, when a hand closed around his throat and smashed his head into the wall. Sharp pain exploded in the back of his head, his ears ringing. He blinked a few times to focus his gaze again and to stop seeing twice. One of the men chuckled by his ear. Looks like you have a fighting spirit. I like that, you know? Yahaba flinched when he felt strange hands sliding under his cloth and grabbing his side. He collected all his strength and took a swing at the man's face. It ended up to be a weak swing because of the wall behind him, but it was all he had. His knuckles hit something soft, and then his vision darkened as his head collided with the wall again. His knees gave up, and he sagged to the ground, the gravel from the pavement digging into his palms. A wave of nausea hit him like a truck, and sharp pain throbbed in his temples as if his brain was trying to break out from his skull. Then he got hauled up and thrown on his back. He tried to get up, but his stomach rolled, kicking the air out of his lungs. That, or he just got kicked in the stomach. He couldn't tell. It just hurt. A pressure pushed against his chest and pinned him to the ground. He looked up, his fuzzy gaze meeting with a wide grin full of unkept teeth. He gasped for air, trying to call, yell, scream, anything, in hope someone would hear him and help, but not a single sound left his throat. The nasty, intrusive hands were all over him again, one gripping his jaw. It's going to be fun. You'll like it. Yahaba squeezed his eyes shut, feeling the tears rolling down his face. I'm sorry, Ken. Then all the pressure holding him down disappeared. He heard muffled yelling, but couldn't understand a word. Everything was just so loud. He wanted to cover his ears, all the noise sending painful waves through his head, but he couldn't find any strength to move his arms. All he saw when he managed to open his eyes were some vague, fast-moving shadows before he got blinded by the light from the street, the pain piercing his brain. He closed his eyes again, waiting. The sounds piped down and then stopped. He flinched when he felt hands on his face and tried to pull away. Please, no. Shige? Geru. Shige, can you hear me? Say something, please. That voice, gruff and yet kind, and oh so familiar. He looked up, unsure if it wasn't just his probably concussed brain playing tricks on him. Ken? The fiery amber eyes looked at him with concern and all tenderness in the world. Yeah, it's okay. You are safe now. Yahaba sobbed in relief, letting the tears flow freely onto the dirty ground. As dirty as he felt right now, the sickening feeling of strange hands roaming over his body still staying on his skin. I'm sorry. Kyotani's face softened. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. But I'm dirty now. Forgive me. Please. Kyotani cupped his face and wiped away his tears. There's nothing to forgive. Just hold on, okay? I called an ambulance. It will be here soon. I promise. Kyotani POV. He held his jacket to Yahaba's head to stop the bleeding, holding him close to share at least a bit of the warmth. Dark rage burned in his chest at the sight of his beloved's unfocused eyes and the blood sticking his hair together. Yahaba didn't stop whispering desperate apologies and pleads for his forgiveness, which only intensified Kyotani's fury. Fuckers! I'll kill them if I see them again! He got them well. His knuckles stung and started to color bright purple, but it still didn't feel like enough. Tearing them to shreds wouldn't be enough to pay for hurting his Shigeru so much. He gritted his teeth. Fuckers! Ken? He snapped out of his thoughts, his eyes softening again as he caressed Yahaba's cheek. Yeah, I'm here. The ambulance is almost here. I can hear the siren already. Just hold on a bit longer, okay? It's going to be fine. No more pain, I promise. It wasn't a challenge. I swear. I know. I was just late. Ito needed some help. I was just late. Shh. I know. It's alright. Don't exhaust yourself with talking, okay? It will be fine. Everything will be fine. I promise. Later that night, they sat on their couch, Yahaba curled on Kyotani's lap, resting after the treatment in hospital. The official result was a concussion, and Yahaba was soon allowed to go home to rest in a familiar environment. After Kyotani promised he won't leave his side and will take care of him and his head. He ran his fingers through the soft silver hair, now washed free of the dried blood and dirt, careful around the plaster on the back of Yahaba's head. Earlier, he helped Yahaba into the bath and washed his hair, keeping an eye on him while he scrubbed his skin and making sure he wouldn't suddenly get sick or lose consciousness. His fury didn't subside in the slightest, quite on the contrary. But Yahaba needed him calm now, and so he pushed all the thoughts of vengeance deep down into his soul, promising to return to them when Yahaba got better. At least the two were already in jail thanks to Yahaba's phone one of them forgot to throw away after Kyotani kicked their asses. Ken? Kyotani removed a stray strand of hair from Yahaba's face. Are you okay? Does your head hurt? A bit. It's weird. Light. Are you feeling sick? Or lightheaded? You have to tell me. Yahaba slowly shook his head. Kyotani sighed in relief and resumed the gentle massage on Yahaba's temples. Are you mad? Kyotani frowned. Mad? Yahaba looked up, and Kyotani's heart shattered seeing the fear in his eyes. He pressed a soft kiss on his forehead. I'm not. Not at you. You did nothing wrong, okay? None of this is your fault. But they touched me. Kyotani silenced him with another kiss. Don't you dare to finish that sentence. They are disgusting, filthy pigs, not you. You are still you, with all your worth, and I still love you as much as before. Nothing changed. I'll hold you until you understand that. Yahaba's eyes glossed over. You promise? Kyotani smiled and kissed him again. I promise. Do you want to take another bath before going to sleep? Please. Alright. I'll be with you the whole time, okay? Tell me if anything feels weird or you start to feel sick. Yahaba nodded and clung to Kyotani's shirt. Will you be here tomorrow? I will. I already called our coach to let him know I need an emergency vacation for a few days. He wishes you fast recovery. Thank you. Kyotani carefully picked him up bridal style, securing his head on his shoulder. No worries. Love you, no matter what. Remember that, okay? No matter what.